Welcome back. This is Reverend Steve Benkin, author of Religion, Been There, Done That, Discovering the Map of Your Spiritual Journey. And we're going to continue discovering the map. So we've gone through, to quickly review, conception, birth religion, non-belief, doubt. Last lesson we went over the literal dimension and the ethics dimension. And now we're going to go over something that's fascinating and is very, very popular right now that I call, if I could spell, common message. This is where now you broaden from your own religion and begin to see truth and beauty in all religions. This is the level of the interfaith movement, or sometimes called interspirituality, interfaith. The same thing, at least to me. It's viewing that there's a common message across the religions. People get together, multiple religions get together in peace and love. They can work on social projects, fighting for justice. They may even be able to worship together. I've seen some incredible interfaith worship experiences. I am an ordained interfaith minister, so I was trained in seminary to appreciate the beauty of all the religions and to find some common threads, right? So you go beyond this. Now I will tell you, there is a inter and an intra. Now, the intra-faith movement is not talked about a lot. And that is the fact that most religions have an incredible rich history and rich theology within the religion. Christianity alone has, are you ready for this? Over 39,432 different branches. That's right, 39,432 different branches of Christianity. Roman Catholicism is one, to give you an example. Right? You got the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, the Greek, and then you've got all the various Protestant different denominations. So, for example, you can stay within the larger framework of the major religion, like Christianity, and there's a lot of exploration. Within Christianity, again, I'm picking on it because I'm familiar with it, and as well as the average listener, but there are so many different denominations, and even within Christianity, denominations don't get along very well. You can't even celebrate communion in every single branch of Christianity, right? The worship services and beliefs are very different, but at a high level, it's all the same, right? But at a smaller level, they're very different. So, for example, one of the things that I challenge people to do is, before you start going to interfaith and start talking and embracing the common messages of other religions, look within your own faith first. Make sure you've done your own homework and clean up, so to speak, your own prejudices of different members of your own religious community before you start making bonds with someone else. Right? So I think that's important. That's an interfaith, and then of course there's interfaith, is cross religions. And then the next level, next dimension. By the way, you've heard me say level. When I first wrote the map, I called them levels. And the problem with calling these levels, even though there's a logical progression here, is that people got really hung up with numbers. People said, well, I'm at level 2. Oh no, I'm at level 5. She's at level 1. And it got to be like this rating thing. So rather than calling it levels, I call it dimensions. But every once in a while I slip back. But I like the word dimension because it's harder to view things as so hierarchical. And this looks like a ladder, but in reality it's not. It's really like a three-dimensional funnel. I couldn't find a way to graphically picture that. But this is a little misleading that it looks like bop, 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 bop. It's not that simple. And I talk about that more in the book. Now this is the level what I call where your mind is blown. I call it the transition level. Now I call it the transition level for two reasons. One is because all these other dimensions, except for conception, of course, you can stay on for the rest of your life. You can stay in your birth religion. You can be an atheist. You can be an agnostic. You can be a fundamentalist. You can focus on ethics. You can stay in the interfaith movement, right? You can stay in these for the rest of your life. This dimension is something you can't. It is a movement. It is a pivot. It is a fulcrum. And it gets you to what I consider the real important dimension of spirituality, where we focus on being one with the divine. But this level of the transition is where your view of God, prophets, scripture, church, religion, spirituality itself, all changes. That's a very complex and difficult topic to talk about unless you've experienced it. One of the things that I learned at this dimension was the power of the myth. And I'm just going to talk about that. This is one of the things that happens to you in the transition dimension. I can't discuss this as easily as the others just because of its complexity, and you really have to dig deep into these other dimensions before I can talk too much about this. But I do want to share this one thing about a myth. A myth is not a lie. A myth is not a lie. A myth is truth within a story. Truth within a story. And when you start reading the stories of religions, you realize these are myths that have profound truth in them. But the problem, as I see it, is that we take these stories and we don't focus on the truth, we focus on the story. And unfortunately, we think the story is historical. And because we believe that, we look for signs, we look for clues, we create holidays upon the elements of the story. And I'm saying, whether it's historical or not, I'm not saying every myth does not have historical basis. But I'm saying is whether historical or not is not the point. The point is the message in the story. It is the truth truth, I should say, not the truth. Truth that's found within a story. So that's one of the things, and when you really understand that, you can read the stories of any religion, and rather than getting hung up on the story part, you look for the deeper truth that's buried inside. And I think if we all did that, we would find more truth in all the religions, and we also within our own selves. Well, that's all we're going to go over today. There's going to be some more inner discovery assignments, some spiritual homework, as I like to call it, to get the juices flowing, to give you new insights. And next time, we will go and we will finish the map. Until then, peace.